welcome to another edition of Superkickin with Stephen and Greg. That's right, Stephen and Greg. Look at this, full strength, back in the flesh, fresh off all the fun things he's had to do over the past couple weeks. But he's back, and of course, Greg, we got to give you a happy Veterans Day to start off the little show here. Happy Veterans Day to all those that serve and continue to serve and all that good stuff. So. I know I think just about every person knows at least somebody, friend, relative, cousin, ex-lover, whatever, Greg, but it just feels like everybody knows someone who has served in some regard in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. What am I missing?
Marines.
All right. What did you serve in again, Greg?
I was in the Army.
Marines. Okay, good. I thought it was the Marines. I'd feel really bad since I forgot this.
No, but you're right. It's like, now I'm your 1 degree of separation. So there's one, and my family tree has lots of military green in it. Mm-hmm. My dad was in the Navy. Grandfather was in the Army, and then it goes on through cousins and nephews, and on and on and on. So lots of military history in my family, plus, you throw a rock at any house and find somebody who's served or a member of that family who served. So happy Veterans Day to all the veterans watching out there in Stephen Nation, and, to my past and present Army brothers who are. So.
Do you still keep in touch with any, did you ever have to serve overseas?
No. Thankfully, I was in during peacetime during the Clinton administration, and while he was busy chasing interns around the Oval Office desk, we were just sitting at the unit chilling. There were no conflicts. We weren't in any, war zones, and we just sat in the unit and drove around the Humvees to look cool every now and then, and that was it. So 8 years worth of that, and it was out for me. So. Bill Clinton will always be my favorite president, and
he's actually a popular president if you really look at things. But
I didn't have to go get shot at, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
But
do you keep in touch with any of those guys? I guess I'm always curious how that. You sound like you have a better, and especially I think with your experience, maybe having a more peaceful and calm one. They're more apt to talk about it. Some guys who go to war. They come back, Greg, and they're changed. They don't want to, So, do you keep in touch with anybody from the old unit?
No, actually, everybody, kind of went their separate ways after that first term was over, and I made friends with people who went into the service after I did, and did the tours at Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and all those operations. So I have more friends that actually went and got deployed than when I was in myself.
Okay. Well, there we go. A quick history lesson on the time that Greg served our country very faithfully. Run around in Humvee. So there you go. Maybe chasing his own tail at times, right?
Hey, those are the original Humvees that were 100% metal, exposed metal. They were not comfortable. They were not fun. But when you rode by in one, everybody knew those Army guys right there. So we kind of started the mold, and then they became a little fashion car fashion statement, and everybody started getting the Humvees. And
who would have ever thought?
Yeah, right.
But good week for sports wise. Lots of things going on. I think a couple weeks ago we had the Monday night where we had all 4 sports on, Greg. It was, NFL, NBA, MLB, because it was like the 3rd game of the World Series, and hockey. So, but this week, what a week for my Pacers. We're sitting pretty, about 3rd or 4th right now in the Eastern Conference. I know we got to use that old caveat, Greg. It's early, until whenever, but got to win in our in-season cup. I was watching a little bit of your game, your Suns last night. Did they get their in-season cup game win, Greg, over the Lakers, I assume?
Let's see. I still have it on my DVR, but I haven't got to watch it all yet.
Okay, so. Sorry. Then I guess I won't spoil it. know, but
Yeah, it's an early night. It was an early night for me last night, but
they they
um,
they, they had a pretty nice court. Some major color and then like a color going in the middle. So, um, people always love to talk up the color schemes and the city jerseys and all that good stuff. But also got our first taste of Wimby this week, Greg, for the Pacers. So he is looking like the real deal. Have you seen much of him play yet?
I heard about it, but I didn't get to see it. The
The way he,
Suns played him,
he
and
the way he just uses his body. I mean, yeah. I mean, he could throw it up a shot while getting, hammered away. Like he could still get it towards goal. And just like some of the contortions he can do. Spinning in the lane with that frame and that size, Greg. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
In a couple of like, I don't think it's going to be a couple years. I'm thinking it's going to be next year probably that we'll be like, oh my god, like I think he's already put up 38 as a career
yeah,
high.
against my Suns.
Oh, was that against? Sorry, I couldn't remember what
Yeah,
that
I
was.
remember that one.
Okay,
Yeah,
but then he
he
put
looks
up.
like trying to guard a telephone pole.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what that's the thing too. Like if I don't know if you need too much muscle on him. He almost looks like a elongated Kevin Durant, right? Which people brought up. Like Kevin Durant came into the league, Greg, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." And now it's almost like that's going to have to be the mold for guys coming to the NBA. I mean, like Chet Holmgren is kind of built like that, and I think guys nowadays you might need that lanky frame to fill you out. So. Um, yeah, really good. We beat the Bucks on Thursday night. Oh, that was
Nice.
my Undertaker night, Greg. So got to see the one man dead show there, uh, and that was my first experience ever with a cell phone free event. So they hand you a pouch, and then they almost have those locks like on the tags on a shirt where they have to
Yeah,
demagnetize it. So um, I joked with my brother. I was like, oh, I guess we got to talk to each other now because we don't have our phones. So very interesting. He gave a shout out to veterans at the end. Told a lot about Jake the Snake Roberts. Did a question and answer session, and that was pretty much it. About an hour and a half, hour 40-minute show ish. So um, yeah, he definitely. It's so interesting to think about Undertaker and just the fact that he's doing these shows, right? I mean, who would have ever assumed, maybe even 10 years ago, Greg, that the Undertaker would be, launching a
yeah,
Patreon and launching, a one-man show. Um, maybe him and Michelle McCool might do other streaming sites, Greg, if you catch my drift. If they Matt Riddle is probably going that route. At least that's what he thinks he is. But anyways, let's get into Crown Jewel. Did you get a chance to catch it yet, Greg, or kind of see some of the results floating around?
no, I did get to see it. I got
Okay.
to I binge like the last 2 weeks that I've been
Trying
missed,
to catch up. Yeah.
and I got caught all the way up to last night.
Okay. Good.
Uh, it got about a quarter of the way into SmackDown, so
Yeah.
I did a pretty good job though.
Yeah, and I know you've been really busy, so that's understandable.
I did get
I
two
don't think
crown
we have to hit
jewels.
all we don't have to like break down every single match, but I think, I mean, should we start with Solo? Was that his coming out party, Greg? The beatdown of John Cena. This reminded me of Brock Lesnar, John Cena's SummerSlam match, didn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. Yep, the Suplex City was born, right?
And then this
Um,
was Thumb. This was Thumb City.
exactly. It was impressive. I didn't expect it to go that way. No,
Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't. I would have never expected Solo to go over that clean.
no, not at all. Um, it makes sense, but John Cena did a great job of building it up. Like I have to win, and I need to
Yeah,
stay relevant, and you know, um, I can't keep losing it. Have you guys give respect me and all that, and just to sell it so hard like that, and then you know still take the L. Props to him for that showmanship is just second to none. And
because they're
um,
saving him for 17.
That's true, but I don't
Do
know.
you
He's
think
gonna
he
have to
wins?
break the
Do you think
record
he wins a
now.
big one? I mean, he's got to get off that schneid right, like go out the John Cena way, right?
I don't know. I think he might be fine with being, you know, 1A to, even though they both have 16 championships, Ric Flair will always be the first person you
Yeah.
think of. So um,
Now that
I
Flair's
do
in
not want him to see him pass that record.
I guess the only thing is, Greg, Flair and AEW, Vince might be petty, right? So if we, I mean, I still think I like to see Charlotte beat it, but that's just another, that should be interesting to see if that happens. But this is not the end of the road, right, for John Cena, though. I think we still got to get the official. They treated this. I think this is more of an international goodbye. Because I mean, he definitely got the send off, but I can't imagine that's his last match in WWE, Greg.
No, not at all. He'll be back, and people still pop for him, and
Yeah.
he's still getting all the love now. Where we used to be the 50-50. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. It's pretty much all at least 90%. Love for Cena now.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's graduated up to legend. All hail John Cena status
Or it's
now
almost like
instead
the
of
Kurt Angle "you suck," like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like
right.
like Chicago crowd, which is pretty much the only crowd that really gives him the suck chant. Rhea Ripley picked up a win. Seth Rollins picked up a win. Greg, I gave myself the big pat on the back. Look who is our new U.S. champion. Already posted him with the title in very revealing pics. I don't know if you've seen his Twitter lately, Greg, but there is a picture of Logan Paul with the U.S. title. So there we go.
Great. That's what I want to see. Give me another reason not to follow him on anything. There you go.
Hey, I mean, the fact that you feel that way, Greg, that means he's doing his job right.
True. He's getting a reaction, and that's what you want. Like I said, the good reaction, the bad reaction.
If he wasn't over.
True.
So
true.
And really decent match. I mean, he was pulling out, like they said, Ultimate Warrior type moves, like the Gorilla Press Slam and all this. So Logan Paul is our new United States champion. We also saw the Pirate Princess back, Greg. She was pretty big on SmackDown last night too. So Kairi Sane finally officially back. It's been rumored for I think the last 2 or 3 months, Greg, but and an interesting pairing to put her with Damage Control since Bailey had some run-ins with Kairi Sane. So yeah, and Bianca Belair, I think we still got to see a heel turn out for, don't we, Greg?
You'd think.
At least after War Games.
Yeah, and I thought she's perfect to join, her husband and Lashley, in their new group they're forming. And then we have BFAB coming out and wanted to holler at Bobby Lashley. So I was looking at it, it's like, I don't know, but
and I could see BFAB because Bianca is over. Like BFAB has never had any sort of, I mean, I guess she was over here and there with Hit Row, Greg.
Yeah, for about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. She has I think that's her voice on the beginning of their song. So, but they're kind of dead in the water right now. Top Dollar, has been gone. His 90 days are up in January. But, Ashanti, he was there backstage with her. So, and I guess you could roll with Bianca, maybe help him be Fab in a way. Maybe like a Bailey type character, but I'll be very interested to see, which direction they go with whoever's the next member of Lashley's crew.
Yeah, because I definitely think one of those two women will be
in there,
the female piece.
Yeah.
Bianca makes all the sense in the world, but that would be a prime spot for BFAB. But everybody's going to be thinking on the side, okay, what's Bianca think?
Yeah.
BFAB is pretty hot, but I can imagine those two as a tag team.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and I think I'd be okay with, because like I said, I think you could use Bianca's, overness, if that's a word. Bianca being over, I think, to help, BFAB kind of learn more of the
Yeah,
style of what to do.
kind of way
Oh,
Trish did with Zoe.
yep, exactly, yeah. Because even, I mean, I guess that's what's crazy to think Bianca's only been, what, on the main roster for about 2 or 3 years, but we're already giving her that kind of gate, that big role. But I think she's also earned it. So, Cody Rhodes defeated Damian Priest. We are seeing where that's all headed now, Greg. We need. I wish I had a William Regal War Games soundbite right now. It looks like Adam Pearce is going to do his second best after Monday night, and then Roman Reigns, of course, defeated LA Knight. But LA Knight proved himself, Greg. And if LA Knight never ever gets another chance, he's got that. He's got this match under his belt. But I still think WrestleMania he needs to be in a high-profile match. I mean, probably the U.S. I'd like to see him get the U.S. title and kind of do what he came with that. So I don't think it's quite. I don't know when he'll get back to that point, Greg. But he definitely showed he belonged.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure nobody thought that he was going to win.
Yeah.
But we were hoping for a banger of a match, and that was his coming out party.
Yeah.
We've seen him have SmackDown matches and a couple of the live event matches, but this is the show. This is Roman Reigns. This is all eyes on him, and he showed out. They had a great match, some great spots in there, kicking out the spear. I don't think anybody saw that coming, and they really gave it to each other good. I loved the match.
Had to have shenanigans involved, so then that way you protect him.
True. So, everybody wins in this scenario, but most importantly, LA Knight wins, and that momentum can keep going, even though, he didn't come out with the championship. It was still an excellent match. And when we think about LA Knight matches, that's going to be the first one that comes to mind now. So mission accomplished.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was pretty much Crown Jewel. The Miz TV thing happened. I know the Saudi crowd knew that Abraham Aliha, I think is how you said his name. He was having some troubles there at first trying to tie up the whatever, I don't know how to call what they wear. Sorry, I don't want to even try to say what they wear because I don't want to be offensive. So, but yeah, but he looked pretty good once he was able to get that all knotted up, Greg, so he could actually move. But yeah, just a little segment there for the Saudi crowd. So. The other big news, though, Greg, is NXT moving to the CW. So the first question is, Greg, have you ever watched anything on the CW?
In a word, no. I don't even know what the CW is in my network, but
I think it's on basic TV or like network TV. Sorry, so it'll be like a ABC. It'll be like a major network, but not major. So I know Arrow was on there. Like they used to be big on these superhero shows. So I'm pretty sure Arrow with Stephen Amell was on there a little bit. Then I think they had some of the vampire shows on there. But yeah, my first thought was, Greg, like, okay, now I got to figure out where the heck CW is, because yeah, and it makes sense because we have brought this before. We didn't foresee USA Network having Raw, SmackDown, and NXT all on there. Even though I think you can agree, Greg, I would love for it just to be on one network. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Friday. I mean, sorry, you knew to tune in. So just keep Raw and SmackDown there. NXT moves to CW. Some of you have mentioned that NWA was on the CW, Greg, which I had no clue. But yeah, and then I guess Tony Khan was in talks with that because I think they have something to do with the Discovery Turner Media Network type stuff. But it sounds like a good move, I guess. I don't know. So we'll both try to figure out where the heck the CW is next year then, right?
Yeah, well, we'll give it our best, and hopefully this is a short-term deal while they see it, because I think half the people in that boardroom when they made this deal, like, okay, what channel is the CW? 'Cause
Yeah.
I guarantee you nobody knew off the top of their head what channel that is.
I couldn't. Yeah, I know back in the day it was called something else, and then they changed it. So I'd have to do my little history of TV channels, Greg, to really
Yeah,
get that.
public access.
Yeah. So very interesting move, but we'll see if it plays out okay for them. All right. Like I said, I think, Greg, as far as Raw is concerned, the big story was we are finally officially getting a War Games match. And I guess, I was going back and forth, Greg. I was like, well, you had Nick Aldis, saying let the games begin. You had, Adam Pearce saying that. I'm guessing we'll get a Survivor Series type style match maybe for Raw and SmackDown, but you already have all the, you're going to use your mid stars, Greg, for that because we have our big match announced Judgment Day, including JD McDonough versus Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. So, do you think a lot of people are bringing up maybe Drew's the fifth member, Greg, but then you got to think, well, who's going to be Drew McIntyre would be the fifth member on Judgment Day, but then who fits on the face side? So, do we see a fifth member added to both sides, Greg? I guess is the first question.
I think so. Just for the sake of that, you get to create that mystery.
Yeah.
And get everybody guessing. It's a place to bring somebody back. If you want to bring somebody back,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of where there's smoke, there's fire thing. We've had Drew talking to Rhea in the back on a couple of occasions. So, and if we're really going to go forward and make him heal, like they've been doing it, it only makes sense that he's in there with the Judgment Day, and then you can bring somebody big in on the face side.
Yeah.
Now, my instinct is that I think those Randy Orton rumors are getting hotter and hotter. So who better to jump in on that side as an equalizer than Randy Orton? What a great match back for him.
Yeah.
On a War Games 5-on-5, but you don't have to carry the load of the whole match on your shoulders. You have your spots here and there, and there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on you, but the amount that you actually have to do, is going to be mitigated because there's so many pieces in this match. So I think that would be a great welcome back match for Randy Orton. So he's my early prediction is who would be the fifth member.
Yeah, and that seems to be, and I'm okay with that. I think, like you said, it gives him kind of an easy, not easy match to work, Greg, necessarily, but he could kind of come in, hit his hits, and then slide out there if he needs to, or get him. Well, it's really not. It's not a Survivor Series style match, so yeah, he doesn't even need to be eliminated. He could just hit his stuff, maybe get taken out by Drew. Maybe him and Drew slide into a feud for Mania season because I think that could be a nice feud for Drew McIntyre. But let's see what else. Judgment Day defeated New Day. Nakamura defeated Tozawa. I almost thought, Greg, they might give Tozawa the little fluky win because let's face it, it's Nakamura. But now it looks like we'll switch into Otis getting the next shot at Nakamura. Any thoughts on kind of this, side feud with Nakamura going against the Alpha Academy?
I know, interesting pivot, but there's been no way to go but down for Nakamura since the Rollins feud. So you've gone down the Ricochet, and now you're going through the Alpha Academy, and he's just going to burn everything down until exactly. So, everybody gets leveled up being in the ring with Nakamura, but he's going the opposite way because it's mid card for Infinity for now.
But Tozawa got a really nice match with him.
He did, and it's nice to see him in a light that's not just a comic relief character and the butt of everybody's jokes, so that he could actually go. So, it was a good match. I was very impressed by it, and we forget that Tozawa, he's got games, so it's nice they show us that.
The Miz, full on babyface turn now, Greg, since he's going against Gunther. That's going to be a really good match for Miz, I think. Showing he can still work, right?
Yeah, true, it is, but it's still weird seeing him as anything but a heel because that's his natural form.
Yeah.
Um, so and people gonna buy him as a baby face now because Miz is Miz and we're used to you know the devil we know,
Yeah.
and he's always kind of this sniveling heel and
Hmm.
snarky, and him playing to the audience and trying to gather sympathy now is going to be weird at first, at least. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how it's going to go for sure.
but of course you're going against one of the top heels in the business. So, what better way to show that you could do it? So, and what a couple weeks for the Creed brothers, Greg. Pick up a win over Alpha Academy, sign a contract for Raw. We said all along. I was surprised that they brought up Ivy Nio, Greg, but I'm like,
Hmm.
I I think at the same time I want to keep them together. So,
Yeah,
and Ivy in that number one contenders battle royale, Greg, she got to show out.
yeah, Final
I think,
Four.
yeah, I thought she was towards the end. So, Creed Brothers defeat DIY, but of course thanks to Imperium. So when Imperium and DIY finally kind of get going, Greg, that's going to be a nice tag team feud there. And then Zoe Stark became the number one contender. But give us a couple of thoughts on those matches as well.
No, I think it's good. They're starting to beef up the tag team division, putting DIY back together, see if they can rekindle that magic. It's a great idea.
Hmm.
Um, they were the hottest thing in NXT for a long time,
Yep.
together. So,
And
why
against each
not?
other.
Exactly. And the Creeds, they're getting a lot of steam coming out of NXT. People dig them. I'm curious to see how they're going to go over on Raw. Um, but this is a proving ground. They're getting their shot, so I'm excited for them. Um, different type of tag team than we see right now. So I think they have a very high ceiling
And they
to.
said they're pretty high on Julius, so it should be interesting to see if he gets a lot more of the shine than Brutus, Greg. But I think right now they're giving both of them. And that Brutus ball, though, man, I still can't get enough of that move, Greg. We're just like, well, it's a cannonball
Right.
into bodies. So,
So
and if you've ever seen, I think there was or a Twitter feed of their like workout stuff, and man, they do some crazy stuff with late Greg and with Ivy. There was Julius doing squats while Ivy was positioned up vertically with her arms, and I'm just like, oh my god, all the blood rushing to her head, and then he's still squatting with her, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's ridiculous stuff. Seth Rollins defeated Sami Zayn. Nice for Sami Zayn to get a nice little, title match, Greg, after helping out with Rollins and all that good stuff. So, um, and then of course we saw all the chaos, and that
yeah,
was Monday Night Raw. So, any parting shots on Raw, and then we'll move right into NXT.
no, good Raw. You know, set the stage on a lot of different levels, and like I said, I'm happy that they're doing something with the women's division and the uh, tag team division.
Yeah,
Uh, putting DIY in, putting in uh, the Creed brothers, bringing back New Day. Um, the Viking Raiders aren't the greatest thing ever, but adding
Ivar's
some
getting a
depth.
nice push.
He is getting a nice push, yeah. And Alpha Academy is still on the come up. People still loving them. So um,
Do you think we get a
another.
Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match?
Um, I think there would be at least one.
Yeah.
We go outside the people who are in the main events
Mhm.
and do the old style, the commissioners pick a team of five
Yeah.
type of deal,
Yeah.
and each one on their own brand put stakes in it for the members of their
Yeah.
team. something like that to make it juicy. So, I'd be down for something like that.
I feel like we're going to get a women's war game match after SmackDown, what we saw last night, Greg. So I don't know. I still, there are times I miss the old school 4-on-4 elimination style of matches, Greg, of Survivor Series. But I also think, well, we don't need a whole night of that, so it's a weird dilemma. So, but NXT, I guess let's get at the end, Greg, because is this all going to be Carmelo ultimately the one that took out Trick?
I think so, just because that's going to give them their reason to have a match against each other.
Yeah.
And have Trick go over.
Yeah.
And usher Carmelo onto the main roster.
Yeah. And I can buy that totally.
Build somebody up on your way out the door, like is to tradition with NXT. Yeah. So, all these signs are pointing to yes, which usually means no. But in this case,
it has to be yes.
It has to be yes. Yeah. I like that he's denying it to, the top of the highest mountain. Mm-hmm. But at some point, and I thought it was going to happen on this episode, he's like, yeah, I did it. Yeah. Okay. You happy now? Yeah, I did it. But so I think that moment is still coming, or it's going to slip, and then he's just going to catch it and own it. So
yeah, that feels like the more like it will come out some way that we didn't expect it. We'll have to be like, wait, what? Like and a big move to put Lexus King kind of in the middle of that, right? I mean, they're really pushing him, as a legit person. So that was pretty interesting to see him kind of in that place. Noam Dar defeated Tozawa, Greg. Tiffany Stratton, she's moving, ahead in the Iron Survivor, which will happen at Deadline. What about Braun Breaker? He is just swimming along, isn't he, Greg? We really got to get him up to that main roster.
Yeah.
Because this stuff with Von Wagner, okay,
Yeah, he ate that big L, but he got to put it to a table, so he really won. His moral victory, yay! So nobody buys it, and all that for a payoff for a hug at the end. Like, okay, next.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. Like, I'm like, well, we already know they're together, so I don't really know. I mean, I don't. It was, yeah. I think the sooner they can somehow get Braun up, even if if Vaughn goes over him, he could say, I quit. I'm quitting NXT, and then he shows up on Raw or SmackDown. Yeah. Or something. I don't know, something like that. Roxanne Kalani Jordan got a win. Lola Vice has she was the breakout tournament winner, so she'll get that title shot whenever. We saw Xia Li come out against Lyra, and she also took out Becky, so we got a couple of stories there for Xia Li going in the works, but Otis defeated Drew Gulak, and then Dijak defeated Tyler Bate to be in the Iron Survivors. So Dijak, getting a little push there, Greg. Where are you with Dijak again? Are we buying him or selling him or just indifferent?
I like his character. I like the idea of it. The execution isn't the greatest. Yeah. But I get it. I see the vision. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how convincing it is. That character on a different superstar may be all the money in the world, but on him, it's still going to need time to marinate and to get over with me.
Almost feels like he needs a person telling him to make these hits.
Yeah.
Like if you had this, like you said, the sniping heel, or like Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool back in the day, like Kevin Nash, like a hitman type deal. So I don't. Yeah. It's an interesting character in that it's just different. We really don't. We haven't seen something like that. Like our Well, and it almost feels like a retribution in real life type character, doesn't it? It's not like his retribution of old, but just a different type of retribution. So, yeah, but and let's get into SmackDown. So the big story there, Greg. Well, actually, two big stories. Um, do we want to start with the women, or do we want to start with LWO? Which I'll let you call the shots, Greg, for this segment. Do you want to start with the women's into the night or the LWO fracturing?
Let's build up to it. Let's say the LWO. What happened there?
So we had, Escobar kind of get in the middle of this where Carlito's accusing him of stuff. And we finally see it. Escobar attacking Carlito and Mysterio saying, hey, this is supposed to be me and you. So it does feel like Escobar's always been better as a heel. I do think they'll still keep Joaquin and Raul. I think they'll keep them with LWO. I think Escobar goes on his own. Now, what about Zelina, though, Greg? She's going to be the torn between two places, but I almost feel like she'll go on Escobar's side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, talk about being better as a heel, Zelina.
Yeah.
For sure. But somebody to be the mouthpiece for, like Escobar, I think it's the perfect matchup. So, and they can, rule breaker together.
Yeah.
And not even the sides, but to make it not so easy for the baby faces to get over on him.
Do you think Escobar forms his own little crew? I mean, I don't know who's available, but I mean, it feels like if he's going to have to try to even, or I guess he just gets over on Ray somehow.
I don't see why not. Why not form his own crew?
Maybe Theory and Waller.
Change the name and
Yeah.
give him a more, kind of menacing,
Yeah.
Characters. Absolutely, you're going to need numbers to rival the guys who are left with Ray on Ray's side. So, I think it makes sense to do that.
What else? So Lashley did defeat Carlito. No big surprise there, Greg. Like you, and I think you brought up B-Fab was watching in the back. And I, I think between Bianca and her, either both of them, one of them, none of them. But I'm definitely thinking, you got to pull the trigger on adding a woman to that group, just because we have so many women involved in other factions, Greg.
Sure.
Rhea Ripley and Zelina. So it just makes sense, and it just gets that, and Lashley can help, get those people over. So Kyrie Sane joined Damage Control, Greg. Then we also kind of went into the end of the night where Asuka sold out all of her partners, so she joined up with Damage Control. They beat down Bianca Belair and Charlotte, and then Shotzi came out for the save, but she got beat down. But Greg, I'm sorry, Bailey, you're going to get stabbed in the back so much it's going to hurt. This is all your hot Asian girlfriends, Greg, teaming up on her, isn't it?
Wow.
Okay. This is going to be all the whatever Kabuki Warriors 2.0.
Wow, I love it. I love it. All the Asian women together. Yeah, let's get that.
Don't have too much fan fiction written about it, Greg.
Asuka, Io, and Kyrie.
I might start a new career for you. Greg Williams, fan fiction of hot Asian girlfriends.
Yes, sir. Let's get that.
But it just feels too obvious that Bailey's going to be the odd woman out.
Right. They have this women's war games match and maybe win, and then Bailey takes a major beat down to excommunicate her from the party. So, something like that going down. But I'm going to dig seeing those three women, my hot Asian girlfriends,
your trio,
run rampant on everybody because.
Does Dakota stay with them? I could see it because I think she's not fully healthy yet. So I think in the meantime, you just kind of have her with them. and then when she needs to, I mean, I guess if you really want to build them up as heels, though, you can have them beat her down, with the knee brace on and all that stuff if she's able to.
True. And then, well, I was thinking Zaya's from China, not Japan, but she
Yeah,
would fit into the Asian coalition.
yeah,
So, you know, another person who's, another lost soul
yeah.
that needs a home,
Well, we've seen Xia Li do. She was Ming Li, right? Uh, for a little
oh,
bit
Mei
on
Ying.
Mei
Yeah.
Ying, sorry, on there. So yeah, are you? I mean, Mia Yim, she's not doing anything with the OC. Maybe she could kind of join up with the hot Asian girlfriends and do some things with them. But um, now, I guess who will be the face? I'm calling for Jade, Greg. I think if we want Jade in a high profile match in Chicago, I think she's got to be on the face side of things.
Hmm. Yeah, I
But then
agree
you
with
also
that.
wonder if you could use Mia, because you got her available right now. Maybe she slides in that role.
Mia against Jade.
No, Mia being on Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi. Because right now you've got the or four women. Um, the four, damage control and Asuka. Because, like we said, I don't think Dakota's cleared yet. So I'm thinking we're getting a 4-on-4 War Games match for the women.
Mhm.
But who do you think is the fourth women for the Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi side of things?
Yeah, Jade makes sense. Um,
I mean,
and
standing with Charlotte and Bianca, she looks even bigger. She's on their side. So
right, it does make a interesting juxtaposition when you consider, the babyface side with Charlotte, Jade, and uh, Bianca, who are towering above the
the women.
heels.
Oh yeah, especially since the visual aspect
Yeah,
of it.
so that could be a little strange.
And
So
I don't know how Jade. I guess Jade would be tough to see in that style of match. We've never, in AEW run, Greg, we just saw her in straight up wrestling matches. I don't recall
yeah,
any no DQ, no, uh, no lights out match, obviously. So that might, maybe we do use Mia Yim at the time, just because
hmm
Mia, I feel, is more apt to do that type of stuff. But, you know, maybe Jay just watching from a skybox, you know, overlooking the scene type deal. But
yeah,
so Dragon Lee and Cedric Alexander ran it back. Dragon Lee wins. I mean, I guess good for Cedric to get on TV a couple times, Greg, but not much there. And then LA Knight got the better of Grayson Waller in the ring, on the mic, and everything, Greg. So he said
beautiful.
he's gonna race. He's gonna face Roman Reigns again, but yeah.
Yeah,
It
we
might be
already know what's
it
going to
might be
happen.
Might be Roman on Roman in 2025, Greg. So, any thoughts on LA Knight right now? Any parting shots for the? Any final thoughts on there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm I'm loving it. My guy is still on top of the world, and he's still getting the biggest pop of the night.
Hmm.
Um, and this match is only added to his um, his street credibility
Yeah.
as far as being able to go in the ring with anybody, and he's staying on that main event level.
Yeah.
Um, these runs come to a halt at some point, but you got to get the most of it while you can. So um, I think they haven't played it up as much as well as they can.
Hmm.
Maybe because what's going on with Cody and everything, and they don't want him to overshadow
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah.
So I think there's still, another height he can rise to. It's just a matter of, how
When that
you ride those waves,
yeah.
the LA Knight wave and the Cody wave,
Yeah.
and not have them wipe each other out.
Is that, yeah, it's kind of a weird problem to have, isn't it? I mean, almost like Rock and Austin. you knew both guys need to get to new heights. And I know people are, if people are listening, I hope they're not thinking I'm comparing that like, oh, Cody's Austin and, LA Knights The Rock. But just in that terms of, two guys I think we really want to see on top of the game. And it just, you can't push. Well, I guess now with two titles, you can push two guys at once, Greg. But, it is an interesting dilemma to have. So, all right, let's do a quick Elite Performance commercial break. Then we'll get to some AW news and tidy up the show for the end of it. So, quick Elite Performance and then get right back into it. All right, so not a big news story, Greg, but still one that kind of came across is that the Bunny and AW have parted ways. I'm guessing she's hopping back to Impact Wrestling, Greg, because I feel like that's just where she fits. You just wonder if the Butcher and Blade will follow her. The Blade is her real life husband, Greg, so you kind of wonder if that does happen, but nothing really big there, but that did happen over the week. So, is there any AEW news that kind of caught your eyes, Greg, or that you wanted to catch up on that maybe we missed over the what time that we've missed yet? So, we'll obviously get into Collision, Dynamite, and all that good stuff, but maybe any side pieces that you caught AEW wise.
Well, oh no, not the Bunny.
I know, right? It is kind of sad. This was my story, but hey, it was out there.
I'm gonna have to, get on the laptop and bang 100 words out about it. This is distressing right here. Yeah, I enjoyed her in TNA, Impact, whatever they're going to call themselves, as Allie, the girl who was just Maria Kanellis' bumbling assistant, who ended up becoming a wrestler kind of by accident and doing the little training montage, Rocky style, until she was actually competent in the ring. So that was the origin story of the Bunny, if you didn't get a chance to see it when she started. So I was there from that beginning. She just dressed like the sexy office worker that you see in a adult film, maybe. Cleavage popping and everything. So there's that. But I enjoyed it. She played it well. So who knows if it was typecasting or she's just a great actress. But it was very entertaining to watch, and I think she will make a very comfortable home for herself back on TNA or Impact. I remember we went over this last time we had our show, but I was seeing a report that Mercedes Moné has been on the payroll for AEW for a while now, and so it's just a matter of
you got to think Full Gear makes sense because it's in LA.
Yeah, so we may finally see her, and I think by now that ankle is good to go now. So just had a little more media presence lately, so I think that time is coming near. I'll be excited to see her and how she's going to fit in with the AEW women. So there's that. And on the TNA thing, I had just one thought that because they said they're going to change their name back to from Impact back to TNA. That it can't be TNA unless you go back to the six-sided ring. And from what I was hearing, they said no six-sided ring. So, that was
There's
what
some mixed reviews.
differentiated.
Yeah, there were some mixed reviews. It does seem like I guess because you train so much in a 4x4, it's like how do unless you're a TNA original, Greg, like how do you prepare your body for that? So it is an interesting dilemma, but yeah,
Right.
it was a good way to separate themselves too, though, right? To have
That's exactly it. That's the one thing that they had that nobody else had was a six-sided ring. And no matter how much wrestling you watch, once you saw that ring, it was like, okay, how does this work? And you have to stop and watch.
yeah,
And that was the whole thing. And they made great use of it, and had great match concepts like Ultimate X
yeah.
with the cruiserweights.
Mhm.
Those Ultimate X matches were awesome. And you had great athletes in there. You had AJ Styles, you had guys like Mason Red, you had Suicide, um,
Samoa
who
Joe.
were Samoa Joe. Yep,
Wasn't he X Division champ for a little bit?
he was the biggest X Division champ ever. But you had Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and just the names go on and on as far as super talented guys who are repping that X division, and those matches were barn burners. But it's not TNA without the six-sided ring. So I'm gonna watch the re-debut, and if I don't see a six-sided ring, it's gonna be gone. I'm out.
Yeah.
So just whoever's running,
If they're
TNA,
listening,
if you're watching this, six-sided ring or nothing.
Scott Demore, you're watching, I know right now. So
Exactly.
give us that back. So,
We are the voice of the people. You got to
we are
give the
the voice.
people what they want.
Yep. So, some results from last week for Collision. Swerve Strickland, he's slowly building up a nice resume, isn't he, Greg? He's just getting wins here and there. He's got to win something big though, doesn't he? Soon.
Well, beating up Cowboys is a good start.
Yeah,
He does great on his own without a title.
that's right.
I love watching him, and he just you just feel like you need a shower after you watch him. Watch him cut a promo, watch his matches. He's just dirty and grimy, and in the best ways. Like this is how a heel should be a heel.
Do you do the swerve of Prince Nana when you watch him, Greg?
If I was in the building, you better believe I would.
Because that's always the case. That's always that fine line, though, Greg. Has the Prince Nana hasn't overshadowed it yet, has he?
I don't think so, and I think the perfect thing is that
Swerve
he's
is
walking behind Swerve.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's doing the thing, and Swerve is just there mean mugging, and he's doing
Yeah.
his slow walk.
Not even like
brooding.
acknowledging it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows it's going on behind him because everybody in the crowd's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But by being in front of it and oblivious to it, he doesn't lose his aura, his edge.
Yeah.
And Swerve and Nana's acting the fool behind them, and everybody's getting into it. So it's a great make sure that they found with this.
Yeah.
And
I
love it.
I think back to Del Rio and his announcer, remember?
Yeah.
The announcer was more over than but this doesn't feel like, and because like you said, Swerve does such slimy stuff, Greg, it overshadows it. So because here he defeats AR Fox. Oh, remember the heel turn of AR Fox, Greg? Oh yeah, nobody does. So
exactly.
Anyways, speaking of things getting over, the Kingdom. I don't know if you've seen, Greg, but now they do have a shirt that says Adam. So there's officially a shirt for Roderick Strong.
Nice.
No Neck November. How are you holding up this No Neck November, Greg?
I think I'm doing pretty good with it. It's
the neck's feeling good.
Yep, the neck's feeling good. Neck's strong. This is the most character work Roddy's ever done in his life, and as annoying as it is, it's like I said, it's a reaction, and that's what you want. It's not crickets.
Yeah,
people are actually responding to it, and as long as they do that, he's going to keep doing it. And it's the people who are playing opposite of him, like Renee Young or whoever's in the crossfire when he comes up, their responses are
just playing it so straight.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. So, and that's making us dig it even more, even though he's been the most annoying person on the planet. And Adam Cole calling Adam, and Adam just hanging up on him, saying, "Get out of here." It's all working. So, keep it up.
Darby Allin defeated Lance Archer. But, Greg, I guess Jake the Snake Roberts wants a little army because now he's got the Righteous rolling with him.
I think it's wrong time, wrong place for the Righteous.
Yeah.
Right now, only being a few months away from Bray Wyatt's passing.
Yeah.
And the one guy, he's just, dollar
Vincent.
store Bray Wyatt.
Vincent does feel like, yeah.
And I think it's just wrong time, wrong image.
Well, even with Jake Roberts, I mean, him and Lance Archer have been rolled together for a while now, Greg. And they've not, we just can never get Lance Archer rolling, right?
Right.
So it's like, I mean, you're going to throw this at the wall and see what happens. But, yeah, I'm in wait and see mode, of course, with it, Greg, but I'm kind of on the, I don't know if this is really going to do what they think. This almost feels like early AEW stuff, if that makes sense, if that kind of fits. Like, we're just trying to throw factions together, but,
yeah.
So, the Acclaimed to Daddy Ass defeated Dalton Castle and the Boys. A bunch of faces got to win. Will Nightingale got to win. FTR got to win, but then they get taken out by House of Black. And then Claudio and Wheeler Yuta try to come out for the save. So, House of Black, this just turned into the House of Black show, isn't it, for Collision?
It is. Well, it should be, because they're awesome, and, you want your top guys on top. It's all about the House of Black and Samoa Joe. So, I'm happy.
Yeah. Some Dynamite stuff. I guess let's just get to the juicy stuff. Who in the heck is under this mask, Greg? Because, they're just taking out everybody of MJF's friends. And you got Samoa Joe trying to get MJF to pick him as his partner. But we can't figure out who would be aligned with Samoa Joe, right?
Right. And like the announcers so, adeptly pointed out, that everybody who's, taken up for MJF is taking beatdowns.
Yeah.
So somebody is, taking inventory of who is, siding with Max and kicking their butt. So they're, keeping close watch. So who is it? And
I guess Adam Cole still hasn't got beat down, right?
True. But he's in a hospital somewhere.
He's in a hospital bed, so that's the downfall.
And, it's real interesting because Max is standing in the ring when the dude with the double mask pops up on the screen. So, everybody's saying, we know it's you, and obviously it's not him now. So I like what they're doing. And now, it's like you mentioned Retribution, who are those people? And we got this again. It's like, who are these masked and hooded people?
I guess we need an unveil before, or do we need the unveil soonish, Greg? Or do you think we could keep, well, we got Full Gear next week. So do you think we get some sort of reveal that Samoa Joe hired somebody to do this?
I think it's more likely that it's going to happen after Full Gear or after Max's match.
Yeah.
That it finally gets revealed who it is, and then that propels you into the new year. But there won't be an unmasking before Full Gear for sure. At full Gear, I can definitely see that.
Samoa Joe, speaking of which, he beats Keith Lee. Referee stoppage. It sounded like Keith, it's kind of weird stoppage to it. And then he vacates the title, Greg.
Hey,
So,
Joe being
Yeah.
Joe. I love it. I love it. And
I don't.
it it speaks more to the badass that he is.
It
He's like,
is. Yeah.
and getting into, he didn't go into the territory that most heels go to. I've beaten everybody. There's no one left. And Q, you
So and
know,
so, which
yeah, from the back and go,
and
I'm
really
the
there
man
is
now.
probably nobody there right now. I mean, that should take that title.
Exactly. This is the way you should do it. It's like,
And
I've destroyed everybody, and now I'm leveling myself up,
yeah,
and somebody else
it's
can
like
have this title
Asuka.
now. So
Like it made sense for Asuka to retire the NXT title because she had done everything.
right,
And I guess I see because people are like, well, why didn't Keith Lee just beat him? Because he was the last one. And I'm like, well, it's Keith Lee. You
right.
give him that big of a win on a random Dynamite in November. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't seem to make much sense either. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see
It,
where. And I
it
guess it
was
does free up Samoa Joe more on now, away from ROH. So,
yeah, it was a gangster move by Joe.
yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, he's the hardest of the hard, and this was just another gangster move. That the champ was champ so long. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. Somebody else can have it.
Yeah.
You know.
MJF did defeat Daniel Garcia. I think we're seeing it, Greg. Daniel Garcia is going to be affiliated elsewhere soon. Uh, he started to shake hands with MJF, but then Angelo and Cool Matt or what Cool Magic, they pull him out. But they're doing their own little stuff with Ruby Soho. So Garcia is definitely headed towards something else soon, right?
Yep. And I still think they're going to get back to him in the BCC. Um, that's what I'm calling. Um, we teased it last year, and well, was it earlier this year? But it's been teased, and it needs to happen because he's perfect for it. And it's about time that another person's added to the BCC. And I think it's the next step to level up his game. Um,
Now the
am
only
I so
thing.
happy that
Go
the dance is not gone? Better believe it.
ahead.
Is BCC going to allow the dance? Hell to
Probably
the
not.
no.
No, yeah.
But
And I
until
guess that's
then,
where I pull the lot. Like I'm weird. Like you go from one heel faction to another heel faction.
right. But when he goes over to BCC, people are going to have more respect for that
That's
because
true.
they know what they represent,
Yeah,
professional wrestlers,
that's true. Yeah,
and
it gets
what
him
group
back
wrestling.
where he should be.
Yeah, what group represents professional wrestlers more than the BCC.
Hmm.
So, I think they're going to give him respect for that
That's true. Yeah,
on its own.
I can get it, and we'll probably see, like we said, we'll see the, the back to basics of him. So,
Yeah, but that
speaking,
dance is mega over. I
which
mean,
is that more over than Prince Nana?
ooh,
Close, close
it's
battle.
close. It's close. Maybe you see a dance off or something.
A dance off, yeah. If this was WWE 2010, 11, right, we probably would have seen it 5,000 times, Greg. So,
Yeah,
the dance off. So, Sting and Darby Allin pick up a win, nothing there. Swerve, like I brought up, has, been picking up wins. Red Velvet's back. Good to see her back, Greg. I mean, we haven't seen her in a while. Anything kind of else from Dynamite? I know we're kind of a little bit on the time, so just trying to respect your time, Greg. Anything else from Dynamite, and then we'll get right into Rampage and kind of finish up with Collision for tonight.
well, just a random thought that
Yep.
I've been thinking about the who's under the mask
Hmm.
and the hoodies and the guys in black. Um, Adam Cole is sitting in a hospital bed, but could he be calling the shots from his hospital bed?
Yeah.
And he's got his own super click
Could it
happening.
be Kyle O'Reilly?
Exactly, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and we get ready to launch Undisputed Era as soon as he gets
3.0.
back. Right. Um, you know, I think there's like four guys in
I
this.
think I was seeing Kyle O'Reilly still a little bit away too, Greg, because he's just now finally getting strength back in his neck. So He needed that. The undisputed guys, I guess their necks just aren't really built, Greg.
Mm.
All those years of landing on it probably didn't help, But I did see, because I was wondering about Kyle Riley, and I saw some stuff on Twitter on his feed where he was doing a lot of work because he had I think he had a couple of the C4 C3 fused or whatever they do as far as that's concerned. So um, yeah, I saw some stuff, but so it might be a little too soon for him. But like you said, I think Adam Cole calling the shots from somewhere makes sense. So not really. I mean, anything from Rampage, Ricky Starks wins, Red Velvet beats Ruby Soho, but like I said, I think they're now pushing Ruby to be smitten with I forget which one, Greg, but I know one of the guys from 2.0, whatever they call themselves. The
Really?
King, yeah, she's been getting flowers sent to her, so they are playing that up. The Kingdom picked up a win over Jobbers, and FTR picked up a win. Yeah, so there's that. And then finally, let's look ahead to tonight. So we have Roosh and Jolistico going against the Workhorsemen, Greg. We got Will Nightingale against Julia Hart. Oh, by the way, Greg, we did forget Sky Blue spit out the miss at Julia Hart.
Yeah.
So we might not get the full out turn, even though we still see the dark side of Sky Blue starting to come out. So it should be interesting to see which direction they go with that. Garcia will go get Andrade, Greg. He's kind of doing his own thing. I guess he is going to give an answer to CJ. I think we both have said, Greg, that's just all leading back to a pairing of Miro and CJ.
Oh yeah.
Somehow. So, and then we'll get Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland. Getting ahead of their trios match for Full Gear, Greg. Oh, I guess we did forget. So the Young Bucks confronted the Golden Jets, Jericho and Omega. Any thoughts on that kind of, I mean, how many times can we revisit the, will they stick together well, Greg, for the Elite? Because I think we're reaching the bottom of it.
Yeah, I agree. I like to they at least put some stakes on the match as far as if the Golden Jets win, they get the Bucks title shot.
Yeah. And if they lose, they get Omega back, right?
Right. Or at least him and Jericho can't team anymore.
Yeah.
So I like the stakes that are on it, and it does,
I think the crowd's going to be kind of split too, right? In that match.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely.
should be kind of a fun match to watch, and in LA, not the Young Bucks home, Greg, but it's California, close enough.
Right.
Nothing is really close enough when you're driving from LA to Anaheim or wherever you're going. So, but yeah, so anything. So, who do your Chargers got tomorrow, Greg? Because I don't know if you know, but my Colts got Germany. So if you want to watch some early football, you got the Colts and Patriots going at it. And then we'll be kind of off. I think we got the bye. So kind of a nice bye to line up with a trip to Germany for the Colts. But
nice.
Getting back, and they're 4-5 now. Kind of hard to believe we're week 8 or 9 now. The NFL season has flown by, Greg. So
it is way too fast.
And who do your Chargers got?
Detroit tomorrow. So Lions are coming to town.
Yep.
It's a Charger home game, and pretty much whoever's coming in ends up taking over the building. So who knows what it's going to take for the place that has to be filled with Charger fans one day. I'm curious about that myself, but we're on a roll. They've won 4 of the last 5 games. And
they beat the Chiefs.
They lost to the Chiefs, but they smoked the Jets on Monday Night Football last weekend, and they built some momentum. They got some they're getting the guys healthy now, and Justin didn't look great in that Jets game, but their pass defense is ridiculous. So I think he's going to put up at least 3 bills on the Lions tomorrow, and we're going to keep that momentum train going, make it 5 out of 6.
Yeah, because just looking at the standings now, you got the Chiefs. Well, this is like conference: Chiefs, Ravens, Jaguars, Dolphins. For the top 4: Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. That's kind of crazy because that's all AFC North right there. They're all going to kind of beat up each other. Then you got the Bills, Texans, Chargers, Jets, and Colts. Kind of 12. So yeah, I mean, lot of games to play, Greg, as they say, and not a lot of separation though.
Right.
You win a couple games, you're right back in the playoffs. If you lose a couple games, you're further. You're further away from it. So not a lot to play with anymore there, Greg. So, and then Eagles 8-1. They are just who did they lose to? I can't remember, but either way, they was it anyway. So Jets. Oh, they lost to the Jets. Okay, that was
There we go.
Fluky win there. So.
Well, that means that we're better than the Eagles because they lost to the Jets and we beat the Jets.
That's how. Yes, it's WWE style. You beat the champion. So anyway,
there you go.
So tune in tomorrow morning at 9:30 if you want to catch some early football. Kind of frees up. I joke, Greg. I'm like, I kind of like it because it frees up your day a little bit. Those 4. I always think the 4:25 game is the odd one because you could do some stuff, but then the evening you don't really want to do anything afterwards. So it's a weird, kind of predicament there. But we will get going. Just so I know you got some things to do, Greg. So we'll let you look at that 5:23. Good timing. So we'll let you get going, and so full gear predictions next week.
Absolutely.
Yep, because we got full gear next week. So we'll predict all 1,000 matches of their evening, Greg.
And then we have to predict the pre-show.
Yes, that's the pre-show. So. All right, well, have a good evening. Thank you again, Greg, for your service. Happy Veterans Day. Enjoy it as you can as you go hurriedly to the airport, correct?
Yep.
With a purse.
I know. I didn't think of all the things.
All the things
to have
forget.
A nice, quiet
I'll just
night
Venmo you.
and
Go buy a new purse. I'll cash up you. So.
Yeah, I wish that was that easy, but yeah, she left all her ID.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yes,
wallet,
we'll let you get
all the things.
Is she? So she's at the airport now?
No, she drove to Charlotte, which is over 3 hours away.
Okay.
And left her purse in the house and didn't realize it until a couple hours ago.
Oh man! All right, well, have a fun drive, Greg.
Well, I'm going to go to the airport, get on the plane, fly over, and fly back.
With the purse. The purse is your carry-on.
The purse of air travel and working for an airline. So
I think we need a picture of you, Greg, with the purse on the
you think?
On the airport, on the flight. So of all the things to take. So all right, well, enjoy your flight, safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, peace.
All right.